This tutorial will give you some step-by-step instructions of how to make a slip pocket in the front of your iPad case. You need to have 2 rectangles of fabric that measure 21 by 24 centimeters. These will be on the inside of your fabric. So if you wanted to use something that was contrasting or some extra of your flannelette, that would work quite well. You also need to have your front piece of your pattern cut to size, matching thread, scissors, pins, pencil, and a ruler to measure everything straight and to size. The first thing you need to do is draw out this rectangular outline for the pocket, and that is done on the reverse side of one of the rectangles that you have cut out. The rectangle outline for your pocket is 16 centimeters long, 2 centimeters high, and that's 4 centimeters from the top edge. When you're marking this out, make sure that that's actually aligned straight. Otherwise, when you go to cut and assemble your pocket in the next steps, your pocket will not be straight. If you like, pause the tutorial here and then you can copy those triangular ends. They're quite important. The next step is for you to pin the right sides together of your front piece of your iPad case and one piece of the rectangular fabric that you've just drawn on. Pin them right side together. Once that's all lined up, about 2 centimeters from the top edge, as you can see in my picture, you sew around the outside edge of that rectangle. Make sure that you really pivot nice and neat into those corners. Don't stop, don't reverse, don't cut your thread. Keep the needle in your work and pivot really neatly, and you'll have a nice strong pocket. The next thing that you do is actually cut down the center line of that rectangular box, and you cut all the way through both pieces of fabric. When you get to where that triangle ends meet, you need to actually cut that triangle out. Cut towards the edge of the rectangular box, but do not cut the corners of the stitching, otherwise your pocket seams will be unraveled. The next step is to push fabric inside out or right side round back through the cut hole. It looks a bit untidy at this point, but if it looks something like the picture, you're doing the right thing. Using an iron, pull it all on the reverse side, push it all flat, and use the iron on a medium heat to make sure those edges of the pocket hole are really nice and crisp. On the front side, you need to reinforce the edges. This also keeps the pocket in place and stops it from turning back the wrong way round, and will reinforce the pocket so that if you use it a lot, you're not going to have any kind of holes or anything in your work. So you need to do a straight stitch around the hole. It's only about 2 millimeters from the edge of the fabric, if you can see in the image, from that cut hole. So you need to work very, very close to the edge. Also, make sure your needle's down into the work when you pivot so that you get nice crisp corners. The next step is to pin the other side of your pocket in place. You need to pin them right sides together, but do not pin them to the front of the work. Pins on down each side and on the corners would be excellent to keep everything in place. Make sure all the corners are lined up neatly and it sits nice and flat. The next step is to sew all around the edge, about 1 centimeter from the edge, back stitch on the corner, so make sure you reverse and come forward again. That'll reinforce all the corners so that your pocket's nice and strong. After doing this step, you can clip all the corners and clip any loose threads and extra fabric. And there you have it. Trim all your loose threads, iron it flat, and you've